So let's get sequencing Folsom Prison Blues by Johnny Cash. I'm going to use 5 instruments based on a standard country blues band. I'm using a studio brush kit, which has got slightly softer sound on the drums. A standard upright bass. Acoustic guitar for the chords. A sort of beatnik guitar for the guitar solo. And to copy the vocals as closely as we can, we'll use a tenor sax. Now, some of this stuff we're going to be sequencing using the pencil tool. That's called step time sequencing. But whenever possible, I want you to try and play this stuff live, real-time input, which will just increase your confidence playing chords, the keyboards, and sequencing in general. Let's get going with the drum beat. We're going to just program a simple 1-bar drum beat which we can loop. Now later on you can make this more interesting if you want to, but for now we just need 1 bar of drums. Now we're going to use this beat that we will call a double time country beat. And it sounds like this. This is the very basic version. Very simple, but we need to make it a bit more interesting. To do that, I'm going to go into Command and 6. I'm going to go into the piano roll here. Let's quantize that. Let's select those and make sure that they are sitting on the line by quantizing to 1/8 notes. Now, to make this more interesting, I'm imagining that the drummer has got both of his sticks on the snare drum, and he's sort of doing a little pattern on there, 16th note pattern with some quiet notes in between the loud notes, like this. So we need to put in those very quiet notes now. So I'm going to use a pencil tool, escape and 2, and I'm going to, I think what I'll do is I'll move these ones down to D1, so they're nice and loud, and that means that this drum, on E, I can put in some quiet notes. Now I'm going to do that now as quick as I can. The same colour at the moment, which means they're just the same volume, but if I click this, escape and 9 for velocity, we get a little V, get into one of those notes, pull it down. So now nice and quiet. Let's see how that sits with the beat. Now you can make that more interesting by just changing some of the colours, just be a little bit random with these ghost notes. That's what we call them, ghost notes, because they're sort of quiet. Because the more variation you put in there, the more human that your drum programming will sound. I also would like to put in a little pedalled hi-hat as well with the snare drum. Probably make those louder. 9 and okay, I'm going to put in one extra large beat here, just make an interesting little, yeah, okay, let's see what this sounds like. See here that we've already clicked the loop button, which is here, and that's how you loop your first bar of drums. Okay, next I'm going to talk about the rest of the rhythm section, which would be the upright bass and the acoustic guitar, which will be playing the chords. By now I hope you've worked out the 3 different chords this song is using. You've worked out when it's going to use those chords as well. Now let's start with the bass. In this kind of music, the bass would usually be quite simple. It would be quite ploddy. It would usually just move between the first note of a chord and the 5th note in a kind of a stepped pattern. So like this. 1 5 1 5. When the chord moves, of course, the bass has to move as well to the relative 1 and the relative 5th. The acoustic guitar will be playing, well, it's quite difficult to program guitar to make it sound like a real guitar. So for the purposes of this sequence, we're just going to do simple offbeat chords like this. I'm going to record some of these now. I'm not going to record the whole song, but I just want you to get the rough idea. So I'm going to do the first 8 bars. Let's switch to guitar. Don't forget the importance of doing inversions. Inversions always make your chords sound nice. To tidy that up, I would usually just go and do a quick quantize, 8th notes on the bass, and we could do, I guess, 16th notes on the guitar. And that's going to give us a very basic first 8 bars. Okay, so next I'm going to program the vocal melody of Folsom Prison Blues, and I'm going to do that in real time on the keyboard using the tenor sax. Now the first time I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it very, very straight. So I'm going to hit the notes bang on. And then I'm going to look at a different way of doing it that's going to make it sound a little bit more human. Here's the first go through. One wrong note in there, but never mind. You can see that that is very on the beat. It's all very precise and very nice, but if we're going to mimic a human voice, we want to try and put a bit of a human feel in there. There's 2 ways that we can do that in music technology. To create a human performance, we're going to need to use the 2 wheels on the keyboard. Firstly, we use the pitch bend wheel, which can go up and down. It's going to take a little bit of practice to try and get those notes in to give a little bit of a pitch bend into it. The second one is the modulation wheel, which is the second one, and it gives it a kind of a vibrato effect. The note wobbles ever so slightly in pitch. Very much like a human voice does. So I'm now going to try and do another performance, but this time I'm going to try and use the pitch bend. When you're trying this yourself, it does take a bit of practice, but you do get extra marks for making your performances sound human. Here we go. Not bad. Try that yourself. I will have the basic score in your books, but do try and put that human feel in yourself. Okay, the final part of this basic sequence task is to have a look at the electric guitar. Now, very much like the human voice, we can add extra feel into the guitar part. A guitarist has 2 ways of controlling his notes. He can bend notes up And some guitarists also have a tool called a whammy bar, which is a bar that hangs down on the right hand side, and when you press it down, it can pull or loosen all of the strings, so you can get a sound like this. So now I'm going to try and do the guitar solo, but just like with the voice, I'm going to try and put in some extra human elements. Again, it's very much up to you how you want to interpret the guitar part. I will put the basic notes together in a score, but as always, try and make it your own, personal to you. That's it for this video. The rest of the song, sequencing it, is up to you to listen to the structure of the song and put all these little bits in to really make it your own. Good luck.